Hey, and welcome back to Rev Limited. Today in the shop we have a 2000 BMW M Roadster. This car came from the factory with a 3.2 liter inline 6 producing 240 horsepower, but it's since been upgraded with a supercharger and it's putting down around 350 horses to the ground. It's in the shop today for a clutch or transmission issue. The owner was driving it and he heard a low shuddering sound and was really hard to shift into gears. He was able to get it into second gear and milk it along and get it over here to the shop. So we got it on the lift. Let's go ahead and put a new slave cylinder in it and see how it goes. Alright, so there we go. The clutch slave cylinder is installed. Let's get it on the ground and pump it and make sure the air is out of it and give it a little test before we put it on the road.
Something's not right. Just by holding the clutch into the floor and putting it like I'm trying to put it in first, the car moves forward. So something's trying to engage, but it's like the synchros won't let it go in. And the clutch is basically irrelevant.
Alright, so replacing the clutch slave cylinder made no change in how it shifted. We do have a few more options on what it could be. The clutch master cylinder, which is the next logical step, but also a potential is the clutch pivot pin. So there's a clutch fork that goes between the clutch slave cylinder, the throwout bearing, and then there's a pivot pin on the other side of the clutch fork. That keeps the engagement. And on these BMWs, they're made of plastic. So there's an option that we could go in and check that to make sure that's not the problem. Talking to the owner, he wanted to go to the master cylinder, so let's do that next. Alright, there we go. There's the old clutch master cylinder. These are actually located above the clutch pedal inside the car. They're not terrible to change. Replace this one. I'll show you where the other one goes. Right there. It's right there above the pedal. You have to pull the pedal assembly and all of the lower plastics out to change it. Some good videos on that, so I didn't show all that. And of course, guess what? That didn't fix the problem. Still the same shifter issues. Can't get it into any gear except for second. For some reason it will go into second, but it will not release the clutch. So the next option is to pull the trans. Here we go. Alright, here's the transmission. Here's where the slave cylinder goes. It bolts up to these two studs sticking out of the trans. It presses on this clutch fork. This clutch fork has the throwout bearing in the middle and the pivot pin on this side. So this side over here was the one in question. The release bearing looks pretty good. Doesn't feel too grimy. We're going to definitely replace it anyway. So removing this clutch fork, there's the pin. So that pin is made of plastic on these BMWs, and it is known to break. It could have been the problem. In this case, it was not the problem. So upon further inspection, take a look at this. That, my friends, is clutch material. It's here, it's down in the bottom, it's even down in these small relief holes for ventilation. Look at all that. Ugh. Underneath the car, same story. This is from when we pulled the trans. It fell out of the trans tunnel. Get a light going here. So this is without the trans. Flywheel looks pretty good. All that clutch material. Well, are you ready to see the problem? Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Here's your clutch. Just take a look at that. So, large piece of clutch material missing here. On the back side, same story, except it's half of the clutch. This is clutch material here. This is where clutch material should be, but it's all missing. That's where all that material went inside the transmission and on the floor. So yeah, remember when I said that it was a supercharged car with a lot more power? This must be either a factory clutch or a factory style clutch, OEM grade, and just couldn't handle the power. Look at the damage there. So the owner did order a new one, and when it comes in, we'll install it and update you from there. Alright, so the new clutch and pressure plate is installed. We went with a spec Stage 2 Plus. Also replaced the throwout bearing and the pilot bearing. So let's take it outside and test it and see how it does.
It shifts like it's supposed to now, but it's never shifted like this.
Just ease into it, it should be fine. Oh yeah. First quick.
It's this it's a freaking go-kart.
It sure is.
Well, it's night and day.
Awesome.
I mean, it is.
I'm glad it worked out.